Oh, this has gone live, and we will be live on YouTube and Facebook. But since our last podcast, it now says that you need a premium X account to stream on Twitter.
The more you know.
That is a very odd way to start.
Fucking Elon Musk.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, fuck knows. I guess that we're not on Twitter. Welcome to episode 275 of the Mighty Whites podcast. I'm Jack, as always, joined by KC.
Melon.
And normally, Alex just sends in predictions other than the live one itself. But for this one, we absolutely had to have him on because, as we'll come to later, it was a very close run thing on last year's predictions. So it was a good thing to have Alex here. How's things, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not bad. I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse of what you've just said.
Yeah. Now, we will be basically we're going through last year's predictions and seeing who won. We'll go through our predictions for this year. It's a 5-way battle this year, in theory. There's the three of us. There is Connie, who is unavailable because it's the school holidays and he has children. And also, because he just wants to prove a point to his brother, we also have Alex's older brother, Benny, who will be sending us some in as well.
I thought you were going to say who's also not available because it's the school holidays.
Yeah.
And he has Connie's children.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, he's got a much more boring excuse of being at work. But before we get into the predictions, I'm not sure who's seen what. But what did you reckon to our pre-season performance?
Well, clearly we're going to piss the league. Or, if you are Spurs losing to Bayern Munich, you're going down. I think we've had the discussion before about how much stock you put into pre-season, and nowhere do I use the example more of how good Rasmus Christensen looked just before he played an actual Premier League game.
Yeah, that there is a thing, isn't there, with everyone looking better without, and then you see how bad that they can look in certain situations. The one coming out looking worst, I think, is Chelsea. Didn't they get beat 5-0 the other night by Man City? And also have lost to several other teams that they probably shouldn't.
And Levi Colwill having a fight with a Wrexham player 20 seconds into a game.
But that looked fair enough. I mean, he did just run up and kick him for no reason.
Yeah, funny.
And that's a dick move anyway, but in a pre-season friendly, it's an extra dick move.
Yes, it looks quite dire for Chelsea. Like the clip of, is it Robert Sanchez that's in goal that's shouting at Wesley Fofana to come back for one of the goals? He's going, Wesley! Doesn't track the man, passed across, scores. Wesley Fofana just goes, pre-season, mate.
But in fairness, he was probably too busy being mad at Enzo Fernandez, and rightly so, to focus on his defending. But Leeds' pre-season has been very impressive. Was it? I mean, it's going back a while now, but what was it? 3-0 against Harrogate, 4-1 against Hanover, 2-0 against Schalke, 2-1 against Valencia. And the Valencia game, the first half of it, I know that Valencia have had some financial troubles and the squad isn't what it once was. But they came 9th in La Liga last year, and in that first half, they didn't have a kick in anger, really, other than at the shins of our players. It was a really one-sided game.
I was going to say, there was I think I texted you at some point going, this is a scrappy game, this. They were not playing that in the spirit of a pre-season friendly. They were playing that in the spirit of, we're playing our local derby, and the other team are much better than us.
Yeah, it was very poor. It was Rafa Mir, wasn't it, that got sent off, the ex-Wolves striker. But he got sent off, but it was the other striker whose name escapes me now, but they're number 9, who could have been sent off about 4 times.
Was this the lad with the greased, slick back hair who looked like a proper villain anyway?
Yeah, little scum-faced bastard. But yeah, the performances in pre-season have been really good, which worries me because they're always shit under Bielsa.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah. But I would say that I am more confident now than I was a month ago, despite losing players.
I will be up until the moment anyone gets injured.
Yeah. Or just until 12:25 on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as we're about to kick off. I have looked back for our predictions. I actually filled nearly all of it out, sort of right at the end of the season. And then the problem came when some of the competitions just went on so long that by the time we were done, there was like, oh, that hasn't finished yet. Neither's that. Oh, I'll get back to it. And then I just didn't. But we're going to go now. I will just go through like the headline things because obviously there's loads of ones. There isn't a really, really terrible one. There is no -10s or -20s. The closest we've got is that Connie had Millwall in 5th. And they ended up 14th. So it was 9 away. But before little Ratface Harris came back in, they were in like the relegation zone. So that looked like being the dreadful one. And then they've sort of turned it around at the end.
Hey, to be fair, at the start of the season, I think both me and Casey had Borough going up 2nd, and they were like, 20th at one point.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure where. Everyone was expecting them to be better than they were. I'm just going to say where did they actually end up? Yeah, they ended up 8th, so like it wasn't too far off in the end. But yeah, that was probably the best one. In terms of like as Premier League predictions, me and Connie both had the best we had Man City and Arsenal in the exact right position and Liverpool in the top 4. KZ, you had Man City, Arsenal, but then you had Scum and Newcastle. Alex, Man City, Scum, Chelsea, Arsenal, so he ended up furthest down. There isn't anything that's really bad. We all had Haaland top scorer. We didn't get. Did anyone? No one got any points for most assists because it was Ollie Watkins, then Cole Palmer, and we were De Bruyne, Saka, and Bruno Fernandes between us.
Bruno Fernandes, who got 3.
Yeah, that comes off a poor one in the end. The first like good prediction, even though there was a bit of rumours about it at the time, is Alex getting Lopetegui to be the first manager sacked.
Before
it happened about 4 days after the podcast came out, I think.
So I would just sit there, tap your nose. Yeah. That's all you need to do.
I was just taking an early lead, all right.
Yeah. So the best quote in terms of accuracy was something I said that was Luton will impress a lot of people and come 18th or 19th. But there wasn't much to be said about that in terms of it. The most, again, impressive thing is when we get into the Championship, where Alex takes a very early lead. Because Alex had Leicester first, which is excellent, Borough 2nd, less good. He then had Leeds in 3rd, Southampton in 4th, West Brom in 5th, Sunderland 6th. So we got 4 of the top 6 dead on, which is pretty decent going. Yeah, I very specifically, though, did have Leeds getting beat in... I quote, I have Leeds getting beat in the playoff final as we can't have nice things. Was the exact quote. And Alex also had Southampton winning the playoffs.
Get in.
So, yeah, this is... you had a hell of a start. The only one that got anything right for top scorer was Connie, who got Adam Armstrong, and he came 2nd. So he got 5 points. No, obviously no one had Smodics. But I think that the best prediction in there is, of course, Alex having Chuba Akpom.
Yeah, that was like 10 days after the podcast he got sold.
Yeah, 0. Although what I would say is KC's shout of Ross Stewart, I think he's also 0 because wasn't he injured the entire season just about?
Yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah.
So yours is
made an appearance.
Yeah, yours is probably a worse 0 technically. Only one that got any points for assists was me, because for most assists in the league, because I had Leif Davis, who won. A couple of us did have Rutter for most Leeds assists, but we didn't go from him this, and he got the second. And no one got first championship boss to go, which ended up being Neil Warnock. We thought he'd go in like November, and he went about 3 weeks into the season. So, like with the Premier League and Championship predictions, the Premier League was close, but Alex got 35 more points than me, and I was in second for the Championship.
Oof.
So I kind of walked it.
I don't like this false hope here.
For the Cups, me and Connie both had Man City for the FA Cup, who came second, so 5 points there. No one got out for the League Cup. KC got Real Madrid to win the Champions League.
Look at me, back in the outsider.
Alex gets 5 points for Leverkusen for the Europa League, who came second, got beat by Atalanta in the final. The only game they lost all season.
One match all season, and it had to be that one.
Yeah. And for the Conference League, which is always his favourite one, because, and as is the case today, no one has qualified for it yet, technically. Connie had Fiorentina, who got beaten in the final by Olympiacos.
Got him.
Yeah. In terms of Leeds predictions, most of them are just like, we didn't get much right on the goals, but KC got Rutter's goals dead on.
Nice.
The hilarious thing of Alex not going for Archie Gray to make his being the first like under 21 to make a league debut because he was convinced he'd already played.
Yeah.
So we all got points for that. Young Player of the Year, everyone got 10 points except KC, because KC didn't have Archie Gray as Young Player of the Year for some reason. I mean, you had Rutter, which wasn't a bad shout.
Yeah, it's. I can't say I'm not disappointed.
Yeah, and the shouts of finishing position, there was a lot of confidence with KC and Connie getting points for only being 2 off with their predictions of first, but both me and Alex had third. So we kind of got that on. No one got particularly close with the notable mad predictions. But Alex was probably the closest with goalkeeper injury crisis. Harry Christie plays a first-team match. I mean, we did have Melier and Darlow out at the same time. And I think Klassen went down injured in one game while he was playing. So that's probably the closest, but no cigar. Your sort of yes and no questions, KC. The first one was Leeds to score 75 or more league goals, which Connie and Alex got right with yes. Archie Gray to start 20 or more games in all competitions. Everyone said yes except KC, which of course he did. A Leeds player to get free suspensions. I had yes, brackets Ampadu. KC had yes, brackets Yelder. Connie and Alex with no, and it was no. Stuart Dallas League goal. Connie and Alex both saying yes, and that was very sad. Yeah, we all got right a team to score 4 goals against Leeds in all competitions, which I don't think actually happened until that QPR game right at the end. Yeah, and the one that made me sad that but we all got it right except Alex was Gelhardt, Somerville, Rutter all to start a game at the same time, and they didn't. The scores right the way through to the end for the results themselves, I was last with 60. Alex and Connie 64, KC winning with 70. But the overall... Oh, and there was no points on this, but KC also had Spain winning the Euros. So in reverse order for last season...
I'm going to finish last again. This happens every time.
4th place, Connie, 191. 3rd, KC, 200. 2nd, myself, 215. And actually, in the end, streaking away with it, proving my theory that the outsider would know more because he's less emotionally invested. Alex with 254 points. He won by a lot, 39 points.
Oh, you should be ashamed.
Yeah, well, so you can fuck off now if you want. So how do you feel, Alex? I believe that that means that we owe you a pint or so.
You know what? The only thing that I can take away from it is that I was really disappointed that I didn't put Archie Gray down. That's the one thing all season I've had in my head is, why have you not said Archie Gray? I think I said something like Amari Miller, but I thought it was like
No,
under
you said
21 international.
Yeah, no, you said Sonny Perkins.
Oh, right,
Who
okay.
did come on as sub in the first game. It was like one of only, it might have even been his only appearance, but he did come on in the same game. So you only actually lost by about 85 minutes.
It's not as bad then. It's not as bad.
Nah. I mean, no one's ever going to have no one's ever going to beat KC's Sunderland will win the league and they come 24th. So it's just never going to happen.
I mean, there was a brief period I thought Wolves might put me wrong again.
Yeah. There was a few where we were close, but it was a bit middle of the road, and I've been tempted to go a bit more out there with my predictions. And then I started looking at them, and I don't think that there's anything particularly out there I can go for. But we just before we get in terms of predictions, have you both had like a look and written stuff down, or are you just going to go off the top of your head?
I have done all my predictions already.
Cool.
Yeah, I've got mine here.
Nice. Obviously, I will absolutely make sure that they are in before the first game of the season. But just heads up, because they've been stuck at work and everything all day, a lot of Benny and Connie's will be added to the sheet afterwards. There's no what I can do about it. But they will be in before the first game. I also was listening back to our predictions just because there was a couple where I couldn't remember if it was all competitions or league, and I hadn't specified in the sheet, so I had to listen back. And we finished our predictions a quarter of an hour before the first game kicked off, that podcast. We cut it really fine last year, whereas we were a lot earlier this time. Loads of time for players to leave and make us look even stupider this year. So we, as champion, Alex, I dare say you should go first. So as always with this, dead on 10 points, just correct is 5 points. Who is your top 4 in the Premier League?
So I'll go from 4th to champions. I've got Man United 4th, Liverpool 3rd, City 2nd, Arsenal champions.
Wow, he's got in Arsenal as champions. Making me type backwards like an ass. I had Man City winning it, Arsenal 2nd, Spurs 3rd, Liverpool 4th. It is one of the ones where I was trying to talk myself into going for like Brighton or someone like that, but I couldn't in the end. KC, what have you got?
I have gone for the same as Alex, except I have gone with Man City winning it.
So Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool scum.
Yeah. None of us backing Aston Villa to repeat.
No, well, when a team gets into it that doesn't normally, I always think that the fixture pile-up will make them a bit worse for next season. And it doesn't always happen, but I think it does normally. For the bottom 3, so from 18th to 20th, I have Brentford in 18th, then Ipswich in 19th, and Leicester in 20th, because I still think they're probably going to get a points deduction. I think Ipswich will be Luton this season. They'll play well and everyone will be quite impressed with the way they play. I just don't think the squad's good enough.
I've gone age-old, 3 teams up, 3 teams back down. Leicester bottom, Southampton 19th, Ipswich 18th.
I'm going with Leicester in 18th, Forest 19th and Ipswich 20th.
Fair. I did think about going for Forest, but I think that they've got enough good players. I mean, I hope you're right because I hate Forest.
They should have enough good players. They've got 3 fucking teams.
They've got all the players.
Hey, I'll tell you what, if you look at Burnley's squad, that's what they're like now. They've got about 40 first-team players.
Yeah, I did have a look at all the ins and outs for the Championship while I were making my predictions, and I did look at them and went, God, they've been active.
Yeah, it's been a bit of an odd one there because they've got in Scott Parker, and I've just always thought that he's not a particularly good manager and doesn't get the sum of their parts out of the team. But the parts of all the teams he's had in the Championship have been good enough to carry him to promotion anyway. And there's a chance that the same thing could happen again. And then if he gets 3, I think you can call him the promotion specialist, despite me never thinking he's been any good. Yeah. Anyway, Premier League top scorer, Casey.
Shock horror, I have gone with Erling Haaland.
I had already typed it in. I have done the same.
Same.
Yeah, Haaland's ruining it.
It's all right. He'll be gone next summer.
Yeah. And most assists, Alex?
I've gone Martin Odegaard.
I may as well cut in then because I've done the same.
I am sticking with last year and I'm going with Bukayo Saka again.
Cool. So, Alex, what I guess is now your specialty after you got the points within about 3 days last time. First Premier League manager to go.
I have gone Enzo Maresca.
I think Chelsea are just going to be Chelsea about it.
The fact that Leicester fell away after such a massive lead last year, and he didn't really know how to rectify it, and they kind of just scraped over the line in the end, put him into a Chelsea team where they've not really got an idea of what their strongest suit is, and kind of just started to find it with Poch, and then sacked a manager and gone for someone with no experience. I think they might be 15th in November, and they just get rid.
Who have you got, Casey?
I too have gone with Enzo Maresca because even if he is half decent, that won't be good enough for Chelsea, and he'll be gone by December. But like you say, it's managing at a whole other level now. Is the Premier League, and you're dealing with a very large group of relatively unsatisfied players.
I had a look through and I was honestly tempted to go with none. I've got a weird feeling that this year's going to be the one where I'm sure eventually one will, but where it might be ages until one gets sacked. But when I'm in a position where I really don't know what to go, I just thought, whose owner's mental? So I've gone for Nuno at Forest. Because they could have a fallout and sack him tomorrow. Anyway, we've got rid of that Poxy League now. We can go on to the proper one. The Championship. I was so tempted to put Leeds first. And I can't do that. I just can't. So, for my top 2, I've got Luton then Leeds. I think Luton are going to do pretty well. I think they've got a good coach. They've had very little squad churn compared to pretty much everyone else. They were playing well last season, but just didn't have the quality for it. And at this level, they will. They should, in theory, have the money to add a couple of really quality additions late in this window. And I can't see them losing more than a couple of games at home, and that's normally enough to get you up there. So I think Luton are going to do it. And Leeds are the consensus favourites. Everyone thinks that we're going to win it. And I had us about 4th 2 weeks ago. And then we've been really good in pre-season, so I can't help but unfortunately be confident, even though I hate being confident. Casey?
I have gone with exactly the same top 2. Luton to win it, Leeds to finish second.
Wow. I didn't think anyone else would be going with me on Luton.
After the crushing disappointment of last year, I thought I'd best rein my expectations in with Leeds, so I will take a top 2 finish instead of pissing the league.
So you can always, when we go for Leeds' specific finishing position, you can always flip them and get yourself a chance.
And then, yeah, like you say, obviously Luton will be disappointed to have lost Ross Barkley, but outside of that, the squad is pretty much the same. They've kept a good group of players together, who I think will know how to play the way out of this fairly comfortably.
And Alex?
Well, it must mean they're going to be shit, because I've got Leeds top and then Luton second.
Jesus. My worry is that we have a kiss of death for both now.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex is on board with Luton. Just look at the colour of his wall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what they've
And my
saved
drink.
on
Oh my
not
god, it's an omen.
on what they've saved on not making a new home shirt. It's going to propel them to go back into the Premier League.
Yeah. They've got that Kaminsky in goal as well, and he's a really good goalkeeper, and that should get them through a few close games that they have and stuff like that. Who have you got for the playoffs, Casey?
So in 6th, I've gone Sheffield United.
Right.
In 5th, West Brom. I'm bummed and hard about this. 4th, Norwich. And I've got Hull in 3rd.
Wow. Well, there is one thing. At least we're definitely not just saying the same things over and over again now. Hull's a weird one because I think they're one of the more could go either way of the season. They've got a good squad, but they've lost that Greaves, who was their best centre back. They've lost Ozan Tufan, who was probably the best attacking mid. They have signed Cody Drammer off us, but right back was like one of the only things they didn't need because Louis Coyle's pretty good. But they haven't spent it yet, but by all accounts, they have quite a lot of money to spend.
Well, they've lost.
They've lost Jaden Philogene off the wing, and did they have Liam Delap last season on loan?
Yeah, on loan.
Yeah, and he's not there now. I don't know if Man City have sold him yet, but they are doing by the sounds of it. So
yeah, he's gone. Is it Ipswich he's gone to?
It might well have been.
I know I'm talking myself out of this, but also I haven't actually seen anything. But has Fabio Carvalho gone back, or is he?
Yeah, he played against us in friendly in America.
Yeah, apparently they've just turned down like 15 million from someone for him. But they do have money and stuff, so it'll be interesting. And they've new manager. Same with Norwich, good squad, but new manager, so you can't be sure. West Brom have lost a couple of good players. Sheffield United, you'd think should be up there, but again, they haven't really brought many in because they're still in the middle of that takeover.
The players they have brought in, though, have been decent bits of transfer, like bringing Callum O'Hare in for free. Kiefer Moore coming in as well as a big shithouse striker.
And he was the sod all as well. He was like 1.5 million or something, wasn't he?
They've done smart business.
They're starting on they're starting on -2 this season as well. Sheffield United.
I don't think that did that actually get confirmed.
Yeah, they're on Sky's table at the bottom with -2 already.
Oh yeah, so I remember reading that was going to happen, and then I don't think I ever read the article saying it has now happened. So yeah, it's an interesting one with Sheffield United. Alex, who have you got?
So yeah, I was looking at Hull the same as what Casey said, and then like I said, I looked at all the ins and outs beforehand, and I know they've got the money to spend at the moment, but also sacking, was it Liam Rossoneri they had in?
Yeah, they've sacked Liam Rossini, and it's them that's got Tim Volter, isn't it? The young coach. He was like really. Was it Hamburg where he got himself quite a good rep? Yeah, Hamburg 21 to 24.
So I kind of taught myself out of that. So I've gone Burnley in 6th, Swansea in 5th, West Brom 4th, Sheffield United 3rd.
Swansea's an interesting one there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rogue shout. They've had a few issues in keepers, but they've brought in that, is it Vachov that they've brought in from Burnley on a free? Because
I
basically
haven't seen-
Burnley have no keeper at the moment. Muric has gone.
We've still got Trafford, haven't we?
Yes, but like backups, Bailey Peacock-Farrell's gone, Muric is gone, and then they've
Oh, no,
sold
not Bailey.
that guy that they brought from Leyton Orient into Swansea.
Yeah, because Swansea last season we had that. What's his first name? Rushworth. On loan from Brighton. Carl Rushworth. I kept wanting to say Callum, and I knew it wasn't that. Who's a really good young keeper, but he's just at Brighton now. I don't think that he's been. He hasn't been loaned out anywhere or anything. So I wonder if he'll probably get a championship move. You're the first person I've seen talk up Swansea, but I'd quite like them to be because they've got that coach that was really good at Notts County. And when he first took over, they played us and they were awful. But they did improve as the season went in, so I'm wondering if they can really kick on now.
I was a big fan of that high back line they kept playing.
Yeah, it was just a bad idea. For mine, I've got Middlesbrough in 3rd. I've got Burnley 4th, Sheffield United in 5th, and Coventry in 6th. I think Burnley are going to be a bit like us. I think that they might have, like we were last season, I think that they might have a bad start while they sort everything out. And then they'll be good just because they've got really good players. Borough really improved as the season went on, and I still think that they've got a good squad. Sheffield United, I almost didn't have them in, and then thought about the squad that they've got and thought it'd be enough. And Coventry might have got in there last season if they wouldn't have had that FA Cup run. And in theory, I think that I know they have lost O'Hare and lost another one as well. But last year they lost Gustavo Hama, who were probably the best midfielder in the league, and Gyökeres, who was probably the best striker in the league, and they barely missed a beat. So I think that they'll probably cope quite well.
That's going to be an interesting thing to see. Sheffield United have Callum O'Hare and Gustavo Hamer in that side.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, that's one of the things for Sheffield United, that Gustavo Hamer, if he plays anything like he should be really good. And of those 4, I have Burnley winning the playoff.
I've got Sheffield United.
I did not think of this. Let's go with West Brom.
Cool. For relegation, I have got in 22nd Preston, in 23rd Watford, and in 24th Plymouth. I will be honest, that Plymouth shout is just I don't think it'll work with Rooney. It's no more complicated than that. Preston last season were statistically awful. They just had a weird start where they won 7 of the first 10 games despite not being the better side in any of them. And that sort of carried them through. The fans hate the manager and the football he plays, so it won't be a good atmosphere. And Watford, Pozzo's been being a bit mental again, by the sounds of it, and everything he's been saying in the press. And generally speaking, when he goes off the deep end, Watford get worse. Tom Cleverley did okay when he took over temporarily last year, but I haven't seen enough to make me think he'll be a good hire permanent. So,
no, I will follow on from you, and I also have Preston in 22nd. I've got Sheff Wednesday 23rd and Oxford United 24th. Similar to you with Preston, I just think they've been. I know they had that really good start last year, but they've been generally awful for a fair while now. Lowe's been there a while, and like you said, I think they're fairly unhappy with him.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see it going wrong. And then I know Chef Wednesday pulled their finger out at the back end of last season. I don't know if that'll happen again this year.
I've been, of all the shouts I've heard so far, I think if I was picking something to be -10, it'd be Chef Wednesday in 23rd.
I'm
not sure that any of them will be -10, but like Chef Wednesday, after Danny Rowe took over, were excellent.
Yeah. You never know once they've had a summer.
True. I mean, and there is also, in the same thing that I said about Pozzo, and there is still Dave on Chancery.
Yeah, and then
you could be first manager sacked. Like,
and then I've gone with Oxford, who I just think it'll probably be I feel like they might end up in a Rotherham type situation of just not quite good enough for the championship.
Yeah. Who have you got, Alex?
2 of them have already been mentioned. 22nd, I've got Plymouth. I think in the same vein of what you said about Rooney, but I think they will cut the losses early enough to try and save themselves, but not get out there. 23rd, I've got
Mr. Warnock.
Nah, he's loving life in Aberdeen.
Torquay now.
23rd, I've got Stoke.
Oh, interesting.
It's kind of similar. Casey said it last year, where they've not really played decent football for a long time. They're not making any major signings. They're just kind of happy being in the championship, and I think they will just fall away this year. And then 24th, I've got Oxford.
Yeah, I mean the Oxford shout is fair enough. I didn't expect Stoke. Stoke have been better since Stephen Schumacher took over.
I don't know. I've just found Stoke so underwhelming for years now.
Yeah, and when like for a team that's been in the Premier League, they never seem to try and make a major marquee signing to push them up the league. Like they've been kind of relying on that Campbell, and he's never hit the potential that everyone thought he was gonna.
I believe he's gone now as Tyrese Campbell.
Has he? But then, definitely going down.
And by the looks of it, he's just on a free. According to Transfermarkt, anyway. I mean, he might have signed somewhere since then, but if not, they have just paid like $1.5 million-ish for Sam Gallagher from Blackburn, so he's probably going to be their main one. And they're the ones that finally did it. Victor Johansson, the Rotherham keeper, who's very, very good. They've signed him, and he was only like £1 million because he had a release clause once we went down to League One. So they will have a good goalkeeper, if nothing else.
I'll just say as well, just going back to Wayne Rooney for a moment. One, they've given him a 3-year contract. And secondly, if this doesn't work out, by the time he's sacked, unless it's before October or before the end of October, he will have been sacked by 4 clubs by the time he's 39.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, that's harsh. He left Derby.
Yeah, he didn't get sacked by Derby. But, yeah, he actually
the
did.
One where he did all right.
Yeah, where they got relegated, but that one, it actually wasn't his fault, to be fair. The Championship top scorer, which is a lot more interesting than the Premier League one. Before we say anything, I want to point out that everyone and their dad was going to back Matteo Joseph to be top scorer based on pre-season, but he's the favourite. I mean, he's like 10-1. There's still something there, but I cannot believe a player who has he started a league game yet?
No.
He hasn't started a league game, and he's the favourite to be top scorer. I think 4 of the top 8 were Leeds at one point. I think it's probably dropped off because Somerville will have been one of them.
Yeah.
But I believe that Joseph, Peru, Bamford, and Nonto are all in the top 9 or 10 for top scorer, which is a bit ridiculous. I am very bullish on Matteo Joseph having his breakthrough season this year, and I think he'll be really good. But I have gone for Emmanuel Latte-Laff at Middlesbrough.
I have gone a little bit out there. I'm kind of going more with how the Championship top scorers looked last season by picking an attacking midfielder. And I'm going with Gabriel Sara at Norwich.
I am going to give you a chance to pick again because he left this morning.
Oh, okay.
And he went to Galatasaray, so fuck that cunt.
Right, okay. Alex, you go.
Oh, my bad. It was last night.
So, hang on. Who plays in the Championship?
Yeah. So, yeah, Alex, who did you have for top scorer?
One of the main reasons why I've got him going up second, I have gone with Adebayo from Luton.
You know, that one I think is a fair shout. Two, if he stays fit, I was thinking about going for Carlton Morris.
Yeah, it's just off the back. Adebayo last season in the Premier League got 10 goals all season. And to have a 10-goal season in the Premier League and then drop down back into the Championship, I think it will have done him the world of good. I think he'll start more games than Carlton Morris as well this season.
I think that they'll both play a lot. I think they'll be two up front quite a lot in this league. So yeah, I'll be. But no, I don't think it's a bad shout at all. With team are doing, and because going into last season, I didn't think any Luton players would get more than 5.
Yeah.
So to get 10 is pretty good going. Have you had a look at anyone who plays in the league, Casey? It's really funny because if it was just about to move and it happened tomorrow, I'd have made you keep it. Because it's but he literally is already gone.
You could have felt the pain I felt last year.
I don't know who any of these people. Who's Brendan Aronson?
Oh, by the way, on the things about Leeds players, I have added one to the sheet for the goals, and it was Aronson.
Okay.
Because I also forgot about it.
I'm assuming this one hit listed here is also Willie Nonto, but it's very odd seeing Degnand Nonto.
Yeah.
Let's go with Had You Right.
Well, I have got Cov having a good season, so. I mean, he looked pretty good against us. He played really well against Scum in the FA Cup, so you never know. Most assists in the league. I bet you can guess who I went for.
Probably the same as me.
And me.
Have we all got Georgie?
Yep.
Oh no, Josh Sargent. No, sorry, yeah, Georgie.
Fair enough. And Alex, your first Championship boss sacked.
You brought him up earlier. If Watford's owner's going on a mad one, Tom Cleverley. Oh, poor boy.
He is just a boy.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier that the Preston fans already don't like Ryan Lowe, so that's who I've got.
I too have picked Ryan Lowe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with him, I honestly think if you do not make a good start, I think he could be gone before the end of September.
I think he could be gone before the transfer window shuts.
Yeah,
like if they have 2 bad games at the start, I think that they could just turn on him that much straight away. Who have you each got for the FA Cup, KC?
I've gone back to Man City winning it.
Have you gone back to the old tactic?
Yeah, just pick Man City for everything.
Yeah.
Alex? I've got Man City.
Fair enough. I was tempted, but I went for Arsenal. I did go a little bit more funky with the League Cup, though. I've gone for Crystal Palace.
Ooh.
I think they've looked really good under new manager. And I think all it needs is a good draw and a couple of big boys to take each other out. And they've got a chance.
I've gone with Arsenal.
Fair.
Arsenal, who they probably need a trophy.
League Cup, I've gone Aston Villa.
Yeah, fair enough.
Big year for them. Can't believe they're going to win the League Cup and the Champions League.
Yeah. Casey, I can't respect that FA Cup pick of just picking Man City because they're the big boys. So anyway, for the Champions League, I've got Man City.
I am sticking with tried and tested Real Madrid.
Fair. Raise eyebrow, win cup.
Yeah.
I have done the same. I've gone Real.
Fair enough.
There's not many times I would ever predict a team to retain the Champions League, but if there's a team that's going to do it, it's them.
If there's a team that's going to do it, it's the only team that's ever done it.
Yeah.
And when they did it 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah. The slightly interesting Europa League. Alex, who have you got?
Man United.
Oh, yeah, of course you would. Scum bastards. Casey?
Winning it in their own backyard, I've gone Athletic Bilbao.
Oh, is that where the final is?
It is, yes.
I didn't know that. I have got Spurs because I still like Postecoglou. And I don't think they'll be able to do it in the league, but I think that the English league is that strong that they've always got a chance. But now the best prediction for me, because you never know who's going to be in it. Who have you got for the Conference League, Casey?
I've gone for Real Betis. Why
does this keep happening?
Or Real or Leeds United B.
That's why I picked Real Betis, because if Rocco and Diego Llorente win a European trophy, it's going to be really fucking annoying.
It's all right. Junior Firth will be there to join them soon.
Alex, who have you got?
Is he picking someone else apart from Real Betis now?
No, I've put a name down, and now I'm trying to think. Because we won the FA Cup, did we knock them out of this position? Or was it Newcastle that we knocked out of this position?
Newcastle ended up not in Europe at all.
Right, so I'm safe by saying Chelsea.
Yeah, I will just check the list, but I'm pretty sure that it forced Chelsea into it. Yeah, Chelsea are one of the teams confirmed in the playoff round.
Right,
there's no.
But no one is in the actual league yet.
No, I've got a feeling we're going to have to see Roberto Di Matteo again, but not the Champions League, the Conference League.
Yeah,
and it'll be Fat Frank that'll do it.
I'll tell you what. Just before we go into the Leeds things, because I have an idea for my notable mad prediction. Is yours Lampard wins the Europa Conference League with Chelsea?
No, it's he wins the Super Cup.
Do you both know what your actual bit mental prediction is?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Casey, what is yours?
I'm going with a Premier League match is abandoned due to floodlight issues.
That hasn't happened for a few years, so
it was a late 90s thing mostly, but
yeah. It was Wimbledon where it kept happening, and was it something to do with the bookies, like Chinese bookies or something like that?
I think so, yeah. It was fun times.
Yeah.
It's seemingly the days where you could just walk up to an electrical box, slash it with something, and walk away.
Yeah, when it was a bit less protected.
My mad prediction is a team who is safe before the final day is relegated due to a points deduction.
Right, so someone relegated due to points deduction after last game.
You are giving the FA and the Football League so much more credit than they deserve because they don't have the spine to make such a decision. And would definitely be rolled over to next season, despite the fact they would punish them this year. But
my one is away from the top 2 divisions. And this would be really unlikely. I don't think it's ever happened before, so I think it's fair to say, man, I think that the teams that win both League One and League Two will both have over 100 points. Because I think Birmingham are going to absolutely storm League One, and I think MK Dons are going to absolutely storm League Two.
Is MK Dons where Bates gone to?
No, he went to Stockport.
Yeah,
He was on loan there.
And they've lost Max Dean as well. But I just think that because they've got that Mike Williamson, he seems to be a really good coach. And they were really good for about 2/3 of the season last year. And I think they're going to really kick on this year and walk it. So
I'm just going to say now on your League One prediction there.
Yeah.
I know I'm looking here. So Birmingham have signed Ryan Alsop, which I think is not a bad signing for that division. Have also committed to having Bailey Peacock Farrell there.
Yeah.
Risky.
It's sort of taking a chance that the players, because they bought a load of players from abroad that were like being linked with top end at championship clubs, and they've bought them and spent a load of money. I kind of want them to not go up, because I think if they don't go up, they're fucked. Like, I can only assume that their wage budget is going to be astronomical. So if they don't go up this season, they're going to be in serious shit.
Alex Pritchard has gone out to Sivasspor. Huh. All right then.
Wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah.
Should we do all the very lead specific things last, or should we do your yes/no things last? Because they're both lead specific.
I'll go through the more likely unlikelies.
Cool. No.
So to start with, I've got starting a really positive note. Pascal Strout to miss 6 or more consecutive games through injury.
If you wouldn't have put the word consecutive in, I would definitely have been saying yes, but I'm going to say no. I'm hoping he can get through a season without a major injury.
Alex?
I have put likely.
I too am going likely.
So
I'm worried about how brittle he has become.
This is the one bit I have heard back from Benny. Benny also has no. He's got unlikely for this.
Next, I've got, and this is with no research into how many of them are in the Championship, a former Leeds player to score against us this season. It's that is all competitions.
Yeah.
I have got likely, and I've got Andros Townsend.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's at Luton, isn't he? I have got unlikely. I did have a think through. The most likely candidate is probably Jack Clark, but I still think they might sell him. There was a few floating around that I could come up with, but there was none that was like, yeah, they're the ones. So I just ended up going with no. But there was plenty of names.
Well, I mean, between Adam Forshaw and Liam Cooper.
Does JB count, seeing as he's only on loan?
He won't be allowed to play.
Ah, yeah.
Same as Sam Greenwood at Preston, because it's a loan, he won't be allowed to play.
Benny
also
Kaling,
has
and
likely.
he'll break your hearts.
Which did you have, Casey?
I'm going to go likely.
Cool.
I'm very worried we're going to get West Ham in the cups.
Yeah.
Next,
it's going to be Spurs. It's going to be Archie, and we're all going to cry.
Next, I've got Leeds to go unbeaten in Yorkshire derbies at home, and I'm going to specify that that's in the Championship. So we've got 3 Yorkshire derbies of Hull, Sheffield Wednesday, and Sheffield United. Because Middlesbrough's not in Yorkshire, it's not a Yorkshire derby.
Fair enough. I'm okay with that as a proviso. I have gone for no, because we always do one of them. We'll lose one of them 1-0 in a game that we've dominated.
Alex?
Yeah, I've gone unlikely. I can see you having a scrappy game that finishes like 2-1.
Yeah. For what it's worth, Benny has likely for this.
I am also going likely. I'm going to be positive in this one. But by positive, I mean I think we win one and draw the other 2.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who those are against, but the draws will be the Sheffield teams. A Leeds player to score on their debut.
Just looking at who we've signed, I think I've got to go unlikely for that. Because all of the forward players have already played. I mean, you're really looking at what Bogle and Rothwell at the minute.
Unless it is a 21 player at some point down the line.
Or someone who we sign. You know, if we sign Raksaki, or the Telegraph is saying that we're in for Rowe from Norwich today. But they're also saying, like, we've made a bid of 7 million, which is, I bet, less than half of what it would take to sign him.
The Victor Orta bidding strategy.
I have also gone unlikely for this.
I'm going to go unlikely as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the same across the board, unless Connie decides to be really optimistic, which he might.
Next, I've got Leeds to score 4 or more goals in 2 or more games.
Likely by the end of August. I have gone likely. I haven't actually specified by the end of August.
It doesn't count if we have an XG of +4.
Yeah.
Go on, Alex.
I've gone likely for this.
I'm going to go unlikely. I know we still have good players, but you have taken Somerville away. I'm still not convinced, despite the audacious chip of Georgie at the weekend, that he's going to start banging in more goals than he did last season. And Joel Peru's going to do his best Harry Kane impression again. So,
Benny has likely as well. I'm going to say last year, not only did we do it, we did it twice against Ipswich.
Yeah, but I just don't think we're as good. Hence why I picked us to finish second this year.
Yeah.
Did you do it 3 times then? Because did you beat Swansea by 4?
I think we scored 4 against Huddersfield.
We scored 4 against Huddersfield. We got 4 away at Swansea. If I remember rightly.
And 4 against Norwich.
Yeah.
Unlikely. Well-informed opinions. Another one that makes me a little bit sad, despite the fact I came up with this, Joe Gelhardt to start back-to-back league games.
I nearly said
boy
likely.
does not exist.
I nearly said likely just because I want it to happen. But I've had to say unlikely because just the rest of the front four is just, at the moment, better players, and I expect us to sign one more as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he does start a league game, because I don't think it takes much by way of injuries. But 2 in a row, I just can't see it.
Last season, did Jadon Anthony start a game for you in the league?
Yes.
Yeah. Not many.
Not many.
But very, very rare.
Yeah, like
not
2
in a row. So, no, I've gone unlikely.
Yeah, I've also gone unlikely.
Yeah, that one's across the board as well. Benny's gone for
that. And my final one for likely unlikely is Melier, Darlow, and Cairns to all play in the league.
Is that the end of the provisos?
Yes.
But I'm going to say likely because I think Caldalo leaves. Maybe on loan, but I think Caldalo goes somewhere else in the Championship. And then Melier will miss a game at some point.
I see what you've done there to me, Jack. I see what you've done there. You've held me accountable to the words I have typed.
Yep.
Yeah. Melier leaves and Harry Christie comes in.
He's got a new deal.
I have gone unlikely.
I've gone unlikely as well.
Yeah. As has Benny. So I'm the only dissenting voice there. But I think it might just be because I kind of want Caldalo to go. Just because, as I say all the time, I don't rate him. And I honestly, if it's Caldalo, I bet Caldalo is on let's be like calm about it and say 3 times the money that Alex Cairns will be on. And it may well be more than that. I'd rather try and get Darlow off the wage bill and just have Cairns sit on the bench.
Fair.
So the just lead specific predictions, starting with the one that we always go with. Will the manager last the season? I have yes, because obviously if I'm going to predict us to be second, it would be a bit weird if he got sacked.
Yeah, no, you're going to win the league, but with a different manager. No, yeah, Daniel Farke will last.
And I'm assuming JC is being asked a question.
Everything's going on here. I'm going to say Farke will last the season.
Cool. And another one that we always do, will Leeds sign a first-team player in January?
Yes, I think we do, because I really think we'll need them, because I don't think we're going to sign enough in this window.
Yeah, and the exact same reasons. It's now that we don't have Bielsa, this question isn't as good as it used to be.
Yeah, I've said yes because I think you're going to need a right back, because I think Byram and Bogle might get both injured at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely need a fullback. We are being linked with Hugo Bueno from Wolves on loan.
Bueno.
I mean, I'd definitely take that, but it will be a bit sad if we have a player called Bueno when it's not Bielsa. So you can't go, Bueno.
And so do you get yes, Bueno?
Yeah. So the normal thing that we do with goals, 5 if you're dead on, 2 points if you're within 1. How many goals will be scored by Patrick Bamford this season?
I've gone with 6.
That's 1 above me. I've gone for 5.
And it's 1 below me because I've gone with 7.
Oh, ballpark was pretty good then. I think this one's a more interesting one, especially given what was said earlier. Jorginho Ruter. I think we should probably come to KC last here. Alex, how many for Ruter?
I've got 11.
Cool. I think I might have gone for 11 last year, weirdly. I've got 13.
I've also got 13.
Oh. Thought your number might be higher than that.
No, as much as I would love him to become the goal machine, I still think we will get plenty of classic Georgie.
Yeah. One of the ones where last year we were I was closest with 8, and he got a lot more than 8. Dan James. Because I think last year I think Alex may have gone for 1 last year.
I won't, yeah.
Actually, come to think of it, you still won, but I think that you were more than 10 away, so I think that might be minus 10. And I've just missed it off when I've been adding it up, but you still win.
Don't take this away from me.
Yeah. Yeah, I have 8 for Dan James.
I've got 9.
I have 5.
Bit of a drop off.
God, you just don't believe in Dan James, do you?
No.
This is probably as much as this is another one that we were long about, but he didn't score enough for it to knacker everyone. Willie Nonto, where I believe last year I had 1, KC and Connie both had 0, and Alex had 6, because we all thought he was leaving in the summer transfer window, and Alex thought he was leaving in January, and then he didn't leave. So this year I have 7 for Nonto.
I've gone for 10.
I have him switching over to the left-hand side and becoming your goal machine. 18.
So you're basically going for him to be Somerville.
Yep.
Fair enough. I mean, it is one of the things that I've been thinking with Somerville going. Don't get me wrong, as we've joked about on here for years, I'm the president of Crescencio Somerville fan club. The reason I'm less annoyed about it than I would have been is because Willie Nonto's best position is off the left, I think. So he's sort of already been replaced. You need someone who can then provide competition for James and Nonto. So we'll see if anyone comes in from that. But he is sort of already replaced in a way.
I was quite surprised because there's a few times during pre-season he's been playing off the right still. And you were there going, but Somerville is literally not on the pitch.
Yeah, well, Brendan Aronson has played very fair bit, hasn't he, off the left? But I don't think that will long term be. I don't think that'll be what we see on Saturday. I think you'll have James on the right and Nonto on the left. Rutter at 10 behind Joseph, and Aronson will probably come on for whichever one of them is playing the least well. On like 65, 70 minutes. Sorry, Daniel Tharker, 82 minutes. How many goals will Matteo Joseph score? Who has got what? 3 career goals at senior level?
Two of which came from the same game.
Yeah, 2 against Chelsea, and then he got 1 away at. He got that late equaliser. I can't remember who it was, but it was away. We watched it in the pub.
Cardiff? Did he not score in the FA Cup against Cardiff?
No, that's Sonny Perkins the year before, isn't
it?
Yeah. But he got 1. He basically blocked a clearance and it went in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's got like 3 senior goals. How many will he get this season, Casey?
Well, following the what the bookies have tipped him for, it's you're thinking 25 plus at least. But I'm going to go with a more reasonable 11.
Fair enough. Alex?
I have 9.
I have 16. I did say that although I didn't go from top scorer in the league, I do fancy this to be a proper breakthrough season. I just watch him and just think he looks like our best centre forward. Feels weird to put one of these on because, as we know, Leeds' centre mids do not score goals. But Joe Rothwell, I have 4.
I've gone 5.
I have 2.
5 and 2.
I mean, if you're being generous to Archie Gray last season, that is the combined total of central midfield goals last season that he's getting. So,
well, if because what is it? There's that and Gruev's free kick.
Yeah.
But 2 from Rothwell, and he scores your goal of the season.
There is a decent chance that he scores an absolute screamer. He does have previous for doing that. The one that I missed off the list that I sent to you because I did genuinely forget about him while I was quickly doing it. Brendan Aronson. I have gone for 6.
I am less optimistic. I've gone for 4.
1.
Oof. You are not backing him.
I just don't see it working.
He is too soft.
Yeah. He gave me some hope in the friendly against Valencia, because he got absolutely crunched, bounced back up, got in, won the ball back, and ran. And I went, yeah. I in my living room went, yes, that's what we want. Do it. And I'm just waiting for him to be down for 10 minutes after a shoulder to shoulder in the first game. And the last one for the goal scorers, Pascal Struijk.
Equaling Alex's prediction for Brendan Aronson, I'm going 1.
What have you got,
Alex? Seeing though Somerville's left, and if Pirro's on the bench, I reckon he might take a few more penalties. So I'm going 3.
Well, Alex, you have said what my logic is. I have Pascal Struijk with 7. Because last season he played half a season and he got 4. 3 from corners, 1 penalty.
By the way, just to clarify this, is this all competitions? Because I will say with Struijk, I know a couple of those were League Cup goals.
Yeah, I mean, I can make it. I aren't going to change it. What would you rather? It's league or all comps?
I just assumed league, but I'm happy to maintain it as all comps. To be honest, given my level of accuracy here, I'm not. and our abilities in the cups generally.
Yeah. No, my theory is I think he'll get 3 or 4 from corners. Some of those left. Peru, I think, will be on the bench. I think it's one of him or Joseph as the penalty taker. We have loads of really tricky players, so you would think that we'll win more penalties than most teams. I reckon he takes at least 3 this season. So I would, if depending on what odds they'd give me, I might see if a bookie will price up 10 or more.
What, 10 or more for Strauch or 10 or more penalties?
10 or more goals for Strauch in the season. Because if he stays fit, I honestly don't think he'll be far off.
Yeah, I kind of factored that in, that I have him down to miss more than 6 games in a row. Like,
Yeah,
I've got a
that's true.
feeling he's going to pick up an injury for about 10 weeks.
Yeah. I'm also, because of my faith in Pascal Strauch, just going to sashay into first new international cap, Pascal Strauch.
Bastard.
Whether
That's mine.
it's for the Dutch or the Belgians, one of them is going to call him up this season.
I've got for that. I've got Georgie getting a call up, and I reckon he gets a call up for a friendly. I know the French team have a lot of depth and everything, but yeah, it's a good run.
That would be a real turn up if the French called up someone in the Championship. Or are you being an evil bastard and saying he's leaving?
Yes,
because I've managed to cope with everyone else leaving. If Georgie leaves, I don't know if I'll be able to cope. Judging by your reaction, Alex, I'm guessing you had Strauch as well?
Yeah.
Fair enough. It would have been Charlie Crew, but they already capped him in the summer.
Before his debut.
Before his debut. And speaking of before his debut, first under-21 league debut, I have Charlie Crew.
Oh, yeah. Well, I also have Charlie Crew.
I've got this little lad called Archie Gray. No, I've gone with Charlie Crew as well.
Yeah, I think everyone will do that because he's quite likely to get off the bench within the first few games.
Well, as a centre mid, he's already got himself quite high up the pecking order.
Yeah. Who have you got for Player of the Year, Alex?
I have Rutter as Player of the Year.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that might happen. If he stays, I just think I think he's the main man this season, without a doubt. Which, weirdly, I should have him for young player as well because of his age, but I went for Joseph, young player.
I've gone for Willie Nonto for young player.
I have gone Charlie Crew.
I mean, if he plays a decent number of games, because it is weird, because it depends what they do for like eligibility. It might be that they go, hang on, this team's so young, we're just going to be like 21 and under. Rather than... So they might...
Or there is the Calvin Phillips Young Player of the Year award.
Yeah. Top scorer, which is 10 for correct, 5 for second. I have Mateo Joseph.
I'm still split on this, but I am going to go Jorginho.
Right. And Alex?
And I've got Willie Nonto.
Fair enough. Most assists, I unsurprisingly have Rutter, seeing as having for most assists in the league. I am guessing the same is going to happen again.
Yep.
Double your odds. Pick someone else. No, Georgie.
Yeah. Then just although we have it for fewer points at the top, we do still have what position will Leeds United finish in. Now, obviously, I put us second in there, and that means that I shouldn't go for second here. And I cannot believe I'm going to say it, but Leeds United are going to win the fucking league. Pre-season, I hate being this confident because of pre-season. But I keep watching Rutter and going, you're the best player in this league by a lot. And All you need, a good defense and quality in attack will win you enough games, even if it isn't perfect. And I think we've probably got like the best centre back pairing as well.
Up until one of them gets injured.
Yeah, if another team had our starting 11, I'd be sure they're going to win the league.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of, you'd like to think if you have sort of a central four defensively of Strauk, Roden, Ampadu, Gruev.
Yeah.
It's a very solid centre, is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
if you need to go for it a bit more, you can play Rothwell instead of Gruev. Like it just looks really solid. It is only the depth that can be a worry.
That's a really good point.
I am going to back myself and stick with second.
Cool. And Alex?
Again, I'm backing myself. You winning the league.
Well, if you've ever I mean, what you really want as a Leeds fan now, if you're anything like me, is Leeds are like even money to go up. So what you want is Leeds to have a good start, so then you can start backing us to not go up. And then you've got something that can lay it off. I don't like that we're this confident, obviously, because we've been here before with Leeds. We know what we like. But I keep just trying to picture. That is the thing that I keep trying to do. Just picture it if they were wearing any other coloured strip. What would I think of this team? And I do look at it and think it's the best team in the league. I don't necessarily... And although I have some issues with Farke, I don't like the way he makes changes in-game. He's by no stretch a bad manager. He's been there and done it before, so I don't think it'll overhaul him. The fact that him using a back three a lot in pre-season so that there is a second plan being trained other than stick 5 or 6 up front has helped my confidence as well. Oh, we might actually have something regarding a plan B. So yeah, I just can't wait for Saturday, to be honest now. I can't wait for it to get going.
Yeah, it's like you say, you come off the back of a decent pre-season. I think I agree with you on the strength of the starting 11, and we have some decent subs. I mean, if you just look at your centre forward options, if you now have genuinely 3 of what I think are good options as your striker between Joseph, Piru, and Bamford. And because you've got those options, if one of them gets injured, you're not unduly concerned as to how it'll affect the team. And so between Nonto, James, Aronson, Georgie.
You can play Georgie wide, and I mean, if your 5th choice is Joffrey, in attack, if there's plenty of depth in attack, it's middle of midfield and fullback and centre back.
Yeah,
where you could probably do with a centre mid, maybe. You definitely need at least one more fullback, and you probably need another centre back. Although, to be fair to him, James DeBayo did well in pre-season, but I'd be surprised if. I don't think that Leeds would feel confident if they had to throw him in.
No, it's not the route I'd want to go. I mean, I imagine wherever there's an injury, it's Ampadu drops into centre back and Rothwell comes into the team.
Yeah, and there's Verbo as well.
Out left.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Because I still think there's a chance Verbo goes.
The Warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm slightly confident for you for this opening game. I do think very much similar to last season, but not for the full game. I think it may take you 20-25 minutes to settle into it, because you are playing against a Portsmouth team that have not been in the league for what is it, 3-4 years now that they've not been in Championship.
I'd say
Like,
they've been out for a while.
Yeah, it's the first chance for a former Leeds player to score against us because Conor Shaughnessy is their captain, I believe.
Mm.
That'd be a good opening day.
Yeah.
No, I think you'll take quite a bit in the first half to settle into it. And I think you'll see the patterns of play come out the end of the first half and then a lot into the second half. But overall for a season, I think it all just comes down to, can you keep that starting 11 fit? And if you can, then I can't see why you shouldn't win the league.
Yeah. Well, that will do us for episode 275. We'll be back later in the week, probably Friday, to do a preview where we actually talk about Portsmouth and stuff. But as always, it's always nice to get them all down on paper, but it's not nice to be this confident. So I've been Jack. See ya.
I'm in Casey. Have a good one.
I've been Alex. In a bit.